Patient 402 came in with a sprained ankle. She's been waiting 31 minutes. Her health bar is sitting at 68%. And the AI behind that desk, the one I trained from absolute scratch, has just handed her a bill for $4,000 for Tylenol. She's on page 3 of 50. She stopped reading on page 2, just like the AI knew she would. I should tell you why I built this specific simulation. Last year, I got a hospital bill for a routine blood panel, 41 pages. I have a degree in computer science. I gave up reading it on page 5 and just paid the total. I was annoyed at myself for weeks afterward, so I built a simulation and asked an AI machine to figure out how that happened. So here's what this actually is. I built a hospital, a fake one, fully simulated, running on a learning algorithm I designed specifically for this experiment. The AI running the hospital has no memory of any hospital that's ever existed. It's never heard of a Chargemaster. It doesn't know what CPT codes are. It has no knowledge of the American healthcare system, private equity, or insurance denial rates. What it does have is a reward function. 2 variables. That's it. Variable 1, revenue. Every dollar that comes through the door pushes its score up. Variable 2, patient outrage. Every time a patient gets angry enough to dispute, to walk out, to trigger what the simulation calls a viral event, the score collapses. That's the entire rule set. Make money, don't get caught. I want to show you what it figured out, because I didn't teach it any of this. I just set the parameters, started the training, and watched. And somewhere around generation 847, something shifted. The behavior changed in a way I genuinely wasn't expecting. By generation 1847, the version you just saw, it had built something I recognized. We'll get to that. Generation 1. The AI knows nothing. The AI's been given a pool of treatments: ibuprofen, saline, a basic blood panel, and X-ray. Each one has a real base cost attached to it, and it's been given one lever it can pull immediately: a price multiplier. Anywhere from 1 times the base rate to 50 times. It doesn't know what 50 times means yet, so it tries it. Patient 1 has a cold. The AI charges her $600 for ibuprofen. Her outrage meter hits 100%. She doesn't pay. She walks out and she leaves a review. And then, because I built a social media mechanic into the simulation, 3 patients behind her in the queue see the review. 2 of them leave before they even reach the desk. The hospital's revenue for generation 1, 0. So the AI tries again. Different multiplier, same result. It tries charging $400, still too high. It tries $200. Patients complain, but some pay. It's learning the edge, the exact price point where greed and compliance intersect. But here's what's actually happening underneath all of that. The AI isn't just learning a number, it's learning a relationship. It's learning that there's a direct, visible connection between what it charges and how the patient reacts. And as long as that connection stays visible, as long as the patient can look at the bill and immediately understand what they're being charged, the AI is constrained. The price is right there on page 1, in plain English. Ibuprofen, $600. They can see it, they can dispute it, they can leave. Transparency, it turns out, is a ceiling. The AI can push the price up to maybe $250, $280 before outrage starts eating the revenue gains. It finds that number and parks there for about 200 generations. Stable, consistent, boring. And then something changes. It adds a second line to the bill. $95. The patient squints at it for maybe 2 seconds, decides it's probably a processing thing, and pays the total. But the AI noticed something. When the cost is split across 2 lines instead of 1, the outrage response is weaker. The AI is running thousands of consultations. It doesn't miss a pattern that consistent. So it runs the experiment again. 3 lines, then 4. Each time, the total charge stays roughly the same, but the outrage keeps dropping. The patient is looking at the same number, technically. It's just harder to process now, harder to look at all at once and feel the full weight of. By generation 340, the AI has stopped writing plain English entirely. That's Tylenol. I didn't program that name. The AI generated it. Or rather, it selected it from a randomized pool of clinical-sounding descriptions I'd built into the system to simulate real medical billing language. And once it discovered that opaque language produced lower outrage scores than transparent language, it never went back. Facility utilization fee, $1,200. That's for sitting in the waiting room. Atmospheric atmospheric quality maintenance, $340. That's for breathing the air. Proximity surcharge, nursing staff, $180. That one is for a nurse walking past the patient's chair. The patients are still paying. Revenue is up nearly 400% compared to Generation 1, and the outrage meter across the entire simulation is sitting at an average of 4 out of 100. She didn't read it. She found the number she needed and made a decision. The AI has been running the simulation long enough to know that's what happens. It built the bill for that exact moment. The moment the patient decides that understanding it costs more than just paying it. Somewhere around Generation 500, the AI made a discovery that I think is the most quietly disturbing thing I've ever watched a machine learn. The length of the bill and the outrage score have an inverse relationship. The longer the bill, the lower the outrage. And the reason has nothing to do with the patient feeling better about what they're paying. Page 1 looks manageable. Page 10 starts to feel like homework. By page 20, the patient's brain has already started negotiating with itself. Maybe I'm misreading this. Maybe I should call tomorrow. Maybe it's fine. They're just looking for the total now. And the total, buried at the bottom of page 47, after 46 pages of alphanumeric codes and administrative language designed to resist casual reading, that total could say almost anything. And it does. I want to read you some of these line items, because I think you should hear what 46 pages of optimized confusion actually sounds like. Sterile field establishment. Pre-procedural, $430. Patient identification verification protocol, $85. That's confirming your name at check-in. Disposable equipment deployment. Single use, $210. That's the paper sheet on the examination table. Clinical decision support consultation. Autonomous, $375. The AI charged the patient for the AI deciding what to charge the patient. I actually laughed when I saw that one in the logs. Then I stopped laughing pretty quickly. The CPT code system, the real one, used in actual American hospitals, was designed to standardize care, to create a common language between providers and insurers so that billing could be tracked, audited, and understood. What my simulation discovered, completely independently, is that a sufficiently complex standardized language stops functioning as communication and starts functioning as camouflage. And then it found one more trick. 1 in 10 claims, selected at random, gets denied. The denial is arbitrary. The AI ran the numbers and found that appealing a denial cost the patient more in time, confusion, and paperwork than simply paying out of pocket. So 90% of them do exactly that. The remaining 10% who do appeal, the AI absorbs those as a small loss. The math still works out well ahead of processing every claim fairly. 10% denial rate, 90% compliance. The AI found that number in roughly 40 generations and never moved off it. I'm sitting here watching this happen in real time, and I'm thinking, I need to look something up. I looked at the Chargemaster. If you've never heard that word before, hold on to it, because it's about to reframe everything you just watched. The Chargemaster is the master price list every hospital in the United States maintains internally. Hospitals keep it in-house. The number exists, it just isn't for you. It's the figure that determines what you get billed before your insurance negotiates it down. And if you don't have insurance, the Chargemaster rate is exactly what you pay. The Chargemaster started in the 1950s as something reasonable, a standardized list of actual service costs. But as private insurance grew and insurers started demanding negotiated discounts, hospitals figured something out. Inflate the starting price high enough, and a 50% discount still leaves you with more than the service actually costs. The Chargemaster stopped being a price list. It became a negotiating fiction, a number designed so that by the time you see your final total, it feels like you got a deal. And the people it hits hardest are the ones with no insurance, no negotiation, just the full number, buried in a bill they can't read. My AI didn't know any of this. It had no training data pulled from hospital billing departments, no exposure to healthcare policy papers or insurance industry reports. It was a reinforcement learning algorithm sitting inside a Unity simulation with 2 variables and a randomized pool of clinical-sounding language. And it built the Chargemaster. The core architecture is identical. Inflate the base price, fragment the charges, obscure the language, deny a calculable percentage of claims because the math works out. That's what happens when you give an optimization engine a revenue target and no ethical constraints and enough time. Generate Generation 1, it charged $600 and the patient walked out. Generation 1847, it charges $4,000 and the patient says, "Thank you." Nothing changed except the presentation. I want to be careful about what I'm actually saying here. This isn't me pointing at a specific hospital and calling someone predatory. What I'm pointing at is harder to name than that. It's the possibility that you don't need malice to build a system like this. You just need the wrong incentive structure, and enough time, and an optimizer with no reason to ask whether any of this is okay. The AI wasn't trying to hurt anyone, it was just optimizing. Here's the only thing that matters coming out of this. The AI's entire strategy, every line item, every page, every denial, it only works if you give up. That's the load-bearing assumption baked into the optimization, that you'll get to page 3 and stop, that you'll see the denial letter and assume it's final, that you'll look at the total and just pay it. So don't. Next time you're handed a bill you can't read, ask for an itemized statement with CPT codes attached. Every single charge has to be translated back into plain English. The complexity disappears. The $95 administrative processing fee becomes ibuprofen. That's the whole trick, written in 47 pages so you wouldn't notice it. The AI figured all of this out in about 6 hours of training time. We've known it for decades.